back to Coteries of New York. Last time, we found a serial killer cowering in the corner of D'Angelo's office. Where else would you keep a serial killer? This time, it's rest time. And we're about due for an intrusion. There! I called it. Sorry, I'm recording this back-to-back with the last, technically 4. One of them didn't record. So my voice is a little rough now. Luckily, I don't think we'll have to deal with D'Angelo anymore tonight. I hope not. Sophie requests your presence tonight, and it seems urgent. You find her already waiting for you and clearly considering something. It takes some minutes of awkward silence before she speaks. I require your assistance, LawfulStupid. There's a matter of great importance that I need to ask you to resolve for me. You will find what I am about to say surprising, I'm sure, but I need you to hear me out. I need you to contact an important anarch figure in New York City and arrange a meeting for us. Oh, what business do you have meeting anarchs? They're the enemies of the Camarilla, isn't that right? That is nominally true. There is much bad blood between our factions. But it's not as simple as a state of constant war. You'll find that with this, as with many other things, the Camarilla's policies have more than their share of hypocrisy inherent to them. It comes hand in hand with using medieval power structures. What we are forbidden to do, the prince may do willingly. Some of these things can be done in the open, others are kept secret as to not invite discord and discontent. I need to contact a man named Torque. And I immediately start having flashbacks to The Suffering. I won't be playing The Suffering because I actually got that with the intention to do an LP of it. Oh my god, is that game unstable. It took me like 2 hours just to get the sound to fucking stabilize. And then it's super crash prone. Kinda sad, because that game's actually pretty fun. And surprisingly scary. At least at times. He is an influential member of the movement, and, like most of them, very suspicious of the Camarilla. That's why I'm sending you to extend my invitation. What are you scheming, Sophie? Say I arrange the meeting. What's next? I have something to offer, Torque. A chance to set things right, both for the Anarchs and for us. Especially for us. From my limited sources adjacent to the movement, I've gathered that your best chance to speak to Torque is to first meet with his right-hand woman, Mia. She's a regular at a club called the Leech Pit. I think it would be best if you presented yourself as an anarch hopeful. So be honest with him, got it? A fledgling looking for a place to belong. Only once you talk to Torque directly should you mention my name and the meeting. Yeah, that makes sense, as I open with, I'm with the Camarilla, they might cut me off. We can lay our cards on the table once I have his attention. My thoughts exactly. After tonight, I suggest that we do not speak of this again until you arrange the meeting. There are many who would jump at the chance to use this against us. With Kaiser, you have proven you can get the job done, even if it requires additional legwork. I am trusting you to deal with this task as quickly and covertly as possible. Oh man, that's a bad one. Forgive me, but that's all the time I can spare tonight. What I'm asking of you is just a part of a bigger whole. Trust me, it will all be worth it. Okay, I'll do my best. Not like I have a choice. I know you will. Check with Gregory for the address of the Leech Pit. Have Mia introduce you to Torque. When she does, tell him I wish to meet. Let him pick the time and place, but let it be soon. If he proves too guarded, tell him I have something that will help him gather allies against Boss Callahan. That should pique his interest. Good luck, and obviously, not a word about this to anyone, not even any new friends you might have made in recent nights. This stays between us. You know immediately that if D'Angelo asks, I will tell him everything. The way she says that final sentence suggests a not-so-veiled threat, but her warm smile belies that impression. You want her to keep trusting you. You wouldn't want to disappoint her. Gregory gives you the address. The club is in Brooklyn. Apparently it's some kind of heavy metal pub with a dedicated concert space. Time to pay this Mia a visit. I don't think think I'll have to put an advisory on this one. The place is teeming with people tonight. You arrive in the middle of a concert. The music is loud, almost deafening, and it takes you a while to get used to it. It really is. I don't know if you're hearing, like, double on this, because, like, my headphones are over on the other side of the desk. Wow, that's loud. You recognize a phrase or two of the lyrics, and you realize that you know the song they're playing. A poster confirms your suspicion. It's a Life of Agony tribute band, and they're not half bad. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of them. A group of a few dozen patrons are tightly packed in, and the smell of their sweat and youthful, excited blood overwhelms you momentarily. It's with some difficulty that you turn to the task at hand. You've heard your share about the Anarchs and how they fit into kindred politics, but you only have your short encounter in Corona Park to base your actual opinion of the faction on. That might have just been a horrible first impression, but you're keeping your guard up, just in case. You take a walk around the club. There's a few side rooms and a spacious bar area. You listen in on a conversation taking place with voices hoarse from shouting, walk in on a particularly sloppy threesome in the bathroom, and eventually hit the floor for a better feel of the room. As the concert's coming to an end, you witness one of the guests, a feisty-looking girl, get into a scuffle with a much larger and drunk guy. She doesn't seem to appreciate him reaching around her waist, slapping him with an audible crack that sends him to the ground unconscious. Two bouncers break up the crowd and pick up the drunk to carry him out, without so much as questioning the woman. You get an inkling she might be who you were hoping to find. You approach her as she's about to leave. Yeah, the fuck do you want? She's still seething and bares her teeth for just a moment, but you've learned what to look for in kindred. You're pretty sure she's one of you. Heard this is the spot to meet hot chicks who hate the patriarchy. Anarchs, you could say. Ugh, seriously? That's the best line you came up with? She doesn't smile, but she doesn't hit you either. Follow me behind the bar. She leads you through the bar to a back. Yeah. She leads you through the bar to a back door that leads inside a side room. That's a weird way to put that. Indie metal band posters are plastered on every wall, some of them 20 or more years old, judging from the tour dates. An old sticky table, ew, and some rickety chairs are the only pieces of furniture here. Sit down. Sure. You take a seat, and the woman leans on one of the walls. Name's Mia. I'm guessing your visit here isn't a happy coincidence. I don't know you, said you're either new in New York, or kept an outstandingly low profile. Both sound suspect. So, before we take these pleasantries further, answer me this. Who do you run with? Camarilla, I guess, but I'm looking to switch. If that's so. She looks you up and down. It's hard to read her. Okay, sure. I'll bite. But let's get one thing out of the way. She leans in. If this is some clever ploy to oust me out of my domain, or if you're here to spy on me in the movement, I'll make sure you don't enjoy undeath much longer. Got it? You can tell it's a purely rhetorical question. Right, here's the pitch. The Camarilla like to think they're the vanilla option. What would Prince Bitch Panard pretending that they were always in charge? But New York has never been a fully cammy city. They might have won the city in '99, but Cams got their asses handed to them many times over the years. And the movement has been here at least as long as they have. Hell, I'd moved to New York City before World War II, and that was a good while after I'd seen the Camarilla for what it was. A way to keep us all in line and subservient. The Ivory Tower will tell you they're the only safeguard for the traditions, and that's kind of the problem. The Ivory Tower, another name for the Camarilla. There's only one tradition we in the movement feel should be respected. The Masquerade, obviously. Everything else? Ask the prince and she'll tell you it's the only logical continuation of the Masquerade, but really it's just a way to keep the elders powerful and in control. That is 100% true. She hasn't lied to us yet. She grimaces. But here's the thing. For all the talk of us bloodsuckers being solitary creatures, we need a community to keep up the Masquerade. Community, yes. But authority? Not so much. We need a council of peers to keep the assholes and power-drunk fledglings in check, but not a feudal prince to tell you where to feed or who to hunt down when they step on her toes. She takes a brief break in her indignant rant. sounds too good to be true. Mia bares her teeth in a predatory smile. You better believe it. Sure, we still have to struggle with the urges of our kind, but it's safer. Or fair. We're as free as our condition permits, but unlike Autarchus, we don't stand alone. Autarchus, the unbounded. The unbound. Vampires who remain outside the larger kindred society of a given city, either by ignorance or choice, usually considered anarchs by members of the Camarilla, though most unbound have nothing to do with the movement. Autarchus tend to go one of two ways, either fledglings who disappeared like immediately and nobody ever really found them, so they're just sort of in the wind, or elders so fucking ancient and badass, entire cities cower as they walk through. There's not a whole lot of there's not a whole lot of room in between there. Nominally, a guy by the name of Callahan has been overseeing the movement's agenda in New York City for the past few decades. Most follow his lead. So, what you're saying is I should talk to Callahan? No, I'm saying you should talk to somebody else. If you're concerned about being well received in the city, you might need to go through Callahan. But if you're serious about the Anarch cause itself, he's not your guy. Callahan eats up fledglings like you and shits out self-preservation. His position as Baron is mighty shaky now, not least due to the fact that he's backstabbing more than his share of allies. Baron. At its most basic, a Baron is a strong Anarch who controls territory and wields authority over those living in it. Think like a prince. One of the most common types of Barons is a lick who has a city neighborhood or even just a building. The other common type is a Baron who attempts to control an entire city on his own, a local strongman. He behaves suspiciously like a Camarilla prince. There's actually a pretty massive disparity about Barons. In terms of, like, the title, it roughly equivalates to the Anarch equivalent of a prince. But they tend to lead more either by just brute force, where they usually don't tend to last long, or by garnering the respect and admiration of the Anarchs around them. Think Nines Rodriguez from the original Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Although I don't think he was technically a Baron. So, he's doing what any other old fart in a position of power would do. He's doubling down. I'm just not going to talk about that. It just seems like I could get in trouble for mentioning that one, because that is so real-world politics, it hurts. Negotiations are out, intimidation is in. Tightening ranks is a precaution against the Second Inquisition. He surprises you by hacking and spitting on the ground in disgust. If you spend some time with the cans, that should sound very familiar to you. He's no better than Panhard and cronies are at this point. No, you need to contact Torque. Wouldn't you know it? It's your lucky night, because I'm the lick to do it through. Torque, huh? Why him? That's supposed to be a dialogue, because he's one of the good guys. Or at least as much as we leeches can be. Torque is a leader, a local baron who's overseeing a small domain, but he's doing a very good job of it. Callahan knows this, so he's giving him shit. Torque is taking it like a champ. He's smart like that. One of us rebels, he's got the patience of a saint. Makes you think back to how things used to be way back when, if the stories are to be believed. Anyway, and yeah, she is super obviously a Bruja. You want to meet him? I'm going to require a show of goodwill first. In fact, most Anarchs are Bruja. That's fair. What do you have in mind? She flashed you a mischievous half-smile. I appreciate your readiness, but I don't have the details just yet. Ask for me at the bar when you're able. I'll leave something for you, and we'll take it from there. Now come on, I gotta be going. She walks you out of the bar, and you go your separate ways. Seems like there's nothing more to do than return here later and see if Mia really can help you contact Torque. I knew it was just a matter of time. We're low on time, but these don't tend to go too long. You're just leaving your haven when you notice a small note slipped under your door. You pick it up cautiously and fold it open. I know what you are. I know everything. Meet me at the Beautiful View Motel, or everyone else will know too. The note is signed, Frank. Cursing under your breath, you check the Beautiful View Motel. It's located in Queens. Getting there will take some time, and something in Frank's note suggests urgency. You run out of the apartment. Stepping into the Beautiful View Motel, you can't help but think that's the name. You can't help but think that the name makes promises that the building fails to deliver. Outside, there's nothing but an ugly parking lot, empty, the paint markings and parking spaces almost completely worn away, marking the parking spaces. Standing in the lobby, it feels like there's decades worth of stale cigarette smoke. You're happy not being able to breathe anymore. Well, actually, you could breathe, but you have to focus on it. The furniture looks like it was picked up from a yard sale in the 60s. There's something appropriate in the grubbiness of the surroundings. They fit the image you have of Frank perfectly. It's appropriate to find him in a place like this. You nod to the old woman manning the reception desk. She seems totally uninterested in what you're doing, her eyes glued to the small TV perched on the desk. A cop show. Walking deeper into the motel, you find a lounge that might have aspired to a kind of lavish comfort in its glory days. Now it just feels sticky, like you need to wash your clothes afterwards. Frank sits on a bar stool. There's no bartender, but Frank has a shot glass in his hand. He looks even sweatier than usual. What's up, asshole? How's it feel not know everything? You stop and look at Frank a little closer. He seems drunk. Not a good sign. Despite everything in your earlier encounters, he maintained a baseline of professionalism. You're drunk, Frank. Sure, I'm drunk. Fucking hell. Frank's voice descends into incoherent muttering. You stop to consider what to do. You're not used to dealing with Frank in a mood like this. He seems more confident and depressed at the same time, as if he had a secret that gives him power but also brought him down. Let's talk, Frank. You asked me to come here, so I'm guessing you have a proposal to make. Sure I do. I have friends, you know. Not just some nobody you can pick on. Sophie Langley's nothing compared to these guys. Frank sounds like he has plenty more bitterness inside him waiting to come out. Let me tell you something. An ear-splitting sound fills the lounge and a bright flash blinds you. For a second, an irrational panic grips your dead heart. Is this sunshine? Are you gonna burn to death in a cheap motel in Queens? As your vision adjusts, something whizzes past you. There's a series of thunking sounds, something impacting the bar. Frank is lifting the shot glass, miraculously still in his hand. A massive blood stain spreads across his shirt. I'm pretty sure the first one was a flashbang. For a bizarre, incongruous moment, you stare at the thing sticking out of Frank's chest. Ooh. Uh-oh. It's a crossbow bolt. Another two lie shattered next to the bar, having missed their targets. One missed you by a hair's breadth. Turning around, you see figures dressed in black tactical gear storming into the room, and whom in eerie silence. Perhaps the flashbang damaged your ears. They drop off their tactical crossbows and lift up rifles. Who comes prepared with a crossbow? Frank slumps to the floor. A wooden crossbow bolt will paralyze a vampire, but struck through a human heart, it kills. The scent of blood fills the air. We probably can't take them. You're facing a highly trained force of well-armed commandos. There's only one thing to do. Run away. You don't even stop to think, just following your reflexes as you duck behind the bar and dive through a staff door as bullets hit the wall next to you. Fortunately, the blessings of the blood don't care whether you're being brave or a coward. The blood speeds up your body as you rush through the back room, past the empty beer kegs and the half-full boxes of liquor bottles. Spotting a back door, you burst outside into the night. Running around the corner of the building, you see 4 SUVs parked by the motel's front door, all black with tinted windows. A man and a woman, middle-aged, dressed like detectives, stare at you in surprise as you run past them. One tries to yell something as you stumble to your car, wrench the door open and turn the ignition. For a terrifying moment, you fumble with the keys, but then the car starts and you floor it, careening onto the highway. You run into Sophie's building, past the surprised-looking doorman. Time is of the essence. You pound on the door of Sophie's apartment, more for the sake of your own nerves than because you think it's any help. After a few moments, Sophie herself opens the door and looks at you in surprise. She doesn't have her makeup on, and her hair is disheveled. You've caught her on a night off. What happened to you? As you step into the apartment, you follow Sophie into her living room. You see the remains of a party. Empty glasses, faint smell of blood in the air. You have no time to contemplate Sophie's social life, however. We're being hunted! We're all gonna die! Sometimes I regret taking you under my wing. If you don't calm down, I'll feed you to whoever is after me. Sit down and calm down. Sit down and stay calm. I'll check whether this apartment is still secure. You sit down, suddenly conscious of the vast gulf in experience between you and Sophie. She's managed to stay alive for a very long time and knows how to survive. You only hope that you'll survive along with her. For the next hour or so, you sit on Sophie's sofa, answering minute questions about Frank and the commandos who assaulted you. At intervals, she makes murmuring phone calls to mysterious contacts. After a longer while, Sophie lets you go. You should be safe, and more importantly, I should be safe too. I've taken measures to secure both of our havens, but keep your eyes open nonetheless. And we got an achievement. Well, Frank's dealt with one way or the other. Here I was thinking I'd have to throw him off a roof. You leave Sophie's apartment wondering whether you'd survive another ambush like this. Probably not. Well, that was harrowing, and it's also where we're going to call it, because timer just ran out. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. You know the drill. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.